Okay, welcome to another Orbiter 2010 video, and this video is going to be a continuation in the Moon to Venus direct flight that we're doing. And once again, I have Dimitri with me. We're learning another part of IMFD, so hopefully you've already seen all the previous IMFD videos so that you have that foundation, you have a sense of how to navigate around the program, and you have an idea of what the different screens look like. I think that'll help a lot. Now, in the last video, we sat here, we were on the moon, and we set up our direct flight to go from the moon using the target intercept program. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you go back and watch that, because this is a direct continuation of that one. We're now ready to set up our flight up into orbit so that we can then go off to Venus. Now, Dimitri, what do we need to do at this point to continue on with this setup?
Okay, so on the left side we need to bring up surface launch. Obviously we are on the surface of the moon and we want to launch into the correct orbit. And we're going to want to link it to the slingshot program. So both MFDs are shared right now. The right MFD is shared to the left. And we're going to the surface launch and connect it to the slingshot. And as you can see, you have a heading in what orbit to launch into. And that heading, that 90 degrees, is very far away. As you can see, time for it is because the moon rotates so slowly.
So our current heading would be 62.74, or about 60, close to 63 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
and that's it. We're ready to launch. I usually launch about an hour before the TJ. But even if you launch now, it doesn't make any difference. Let's say less than 5,000 seconds is okay to launch.
Let's go ahead and warp time forward, get a little closer to the TEJ. 3,600, I think, would be good. And we're coming up on that number. All right, there we are. So we're about an hour away now, so we'll be able to... now, this is just going to be a standard launch up into orbit here, so we'll bring up... We need to see that. Do we need to see the heading, or do we really need to see anything in IMFD at this point, or am I okay to bring up orbit and surface MFD?
Bring up surface MFD, but you can keep the left side the surface launch program, and you can watch your periapsis and apoapsis over there, and also you can see the EIN, which is yellow right now, and you want to, during the launch, you want to get that as close to 0 as possible. It's like having aligned planes MFD and watching the relative inclination to the hypothetical orbit.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's lift up and raise landing gear. Rotate over to 63-ish.
Slightly less than 63.
Yeah.
Now don't worry too much about getting the relative inclination exactly at 0. It doesn't really matter at this point. Getting it less than 0.1 degrees is just fine.
Okay. And we cut the fuel down in this in the Delta Glider because it accelerates much faster. You get to orbital velocity much quicker by having about half as much fuel, and you really don't even need that much.
Yeah, even a quarter of fuel would be just fine in this case. You can change the projection on the left side if you want.
Yeah, definitely. I hate seeing those weird projections. And our EIN's a bit off, but we'll take care of that when we get to orbit.
You can, if you want, slightly not pitch, sorry, roll to, not roll, I said both wrong. Yaw to the left or right. And
looks like yawing to the right's helping. And now I just want to watch that PEA. We want a 20 kilometer initial altitude. Now in Transx you always set that up as part of the plan, but I guess you don't do that in IMFD.
Well, you could have set up the altitude here on the left, as you can see, right under the slingshot, on the left side, but it doesn't really matter.
Translation. Okay, we don't need to worry about bringing that back down to 20 exactly, do we?
No, of course not.
Okay.
And what you can do right now is to open up on the right side before you circularize the orbit. Open up the right side, and now you're going to need the orbit eject program, and you're going to connect it to the slingshot.
Okay, so on the right side, we're gonna leave the slingshot program.
On the right side, you're going to open the orbit eject program, and you're going to connect it to the slingshot.
Okay.
So we can see if we need to circularize the orbit or not.
Oh, right. Because we're here and we're gonna eject over there, so obviously we need to circularize because we'll be below the surface over at that point.
I'm still seeing surface.
It'll come
The
up in a
surface
second.
MFD. Okay.
Hopefully it'll come up in a second. There is a little bit of lag in our video connection that we have here. Dimitri's in Greece. I'm in Florida, so it's quite a while. It's quite a distance to go. Are you still seeing surface?
I'm still seeing surface. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of delay.
Yeah. I don't understand how can have this big delay. Do you mind powering it off and then back on?
Yeah, I can do that. And it could just be video not updating or something.
Yeah, it's probably video not updating because I can see that you just changed the head-up display, but I'm still seeing surface on the surface MFD on the right side.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of delay because I changed the HUD a long time ago.
Sorry. It could be because of the delay. Yeah, now I see that you are going to open up interplanetary MFD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I have quite a bit of a delay. That's why. Anyway, I don't actually have to say it. You can say it for yourself, and you can tell me which values you can say. So on the right side, you need, like I said, the orbit eject program, and you want to connect it to the slingshot. Okay. You can also change the projection. You can see. So from what I can say right now, is that the burn is below the Earth's, the Moon's surface. So you probably want to circularize the orbit first, and then get up to the point when you need to make the burn.
Yeah, and I think probably the easiest way to do that is to open the orbital program on the left side.
Yeah.
The one thing about the orbital program I don't like is that it doesn't tell you when the apoapsis time is. So how do you even know unless you bring up orbit also?
Well, you from the two screens that you have right now, you can see where the apoapsis is.
Yeah, you can see it. I kind of prefer to have that.
Doesn't tell you the number of seconds. Yeah. Well, in that case, there is also in the course program, there is also something that you can do with orbit over there, but I almost never use it. We can try it right now. Go to the menu and course program.
I'm there. It's I don't know how long it'll take for the video lag to catch up.
Yeah, it takes quite a while. And do you use something like, say, orbital or something like that?
Are you referring to the orbital program or the course program?
No, in the course program.
Oh, I'm sorry, the course program. Okay. And we have.
So we have to change the target in the set program. No. We keep it like that, and we go to orbital, and if necessary, you can open up orbit MFT on the other side, and look at the time to apoapsis.
Yeah, I guess one way you can kind of tell just by looking at the circularization program is when the DV kind of reaches its lowest point, but then by that point, you're already at periapsis. So, I'll just bring up.
So you're going to miss a little bit of a couple of seconds until the spacecraft orients itself.
Yeah, so I'll just bring up orbit MFD on the right side for a moment. I'm just with IMFD. I'm still a little leery. Sometimes I feel like if I open a different program, I'm going to lose what I have in the.
The one that is not shared has all the information that you need. The only way that you're going to lose something is if you make changes on the side that is not shared. Otherwise,
Okay.
you're not going to lose anything. And you can close it and open another MFD in its place and open up back IMFD, and it will keep the data that it had. I mean, you're not going to lose anything.
Okay. I'll get used to that eventually. I've had a couple times now where I've set up some stuff in IMFD like the Delta V program, and then I've done something else, and then all the data's gone. It's like ugh. And I don't quite yet know the navigation of the program well enough to understand when that happens and when it doesn't. All right, let's warp time forward to get over to the circularization, so it doesn't take forever to do that. Are you seeing orbit MFD on the right side now?
Well, now I'm getting a little bit of weird things going on my screen. So
Okay, so there's a
I
stuttering
can
and
see the moon both on the left and on the right side,
okay.
and two head-up displays. So yeah, it's a little bit weird.
Well, hopefully that'll settle down here shortly. Usually we have pretty good luck with this.
Yeah, this is the first time it's happened.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna slowly take care of this circularization, and hopefully by the time that's done, the weirdness will be solved. Okay, I've got the vessel in position. We're just waiting for the APT. It's now 6, 5, 4, and 2, an auto burn.
Yeah.
Okay, we now have a circular orbit. At least now we do. Okay. So now let me bring interplanetary back up on the right side, and I'll bring it, get out of the orbital program on the left, and we'll go back to the course program on the left side. All right, now we can see that we are about 1/3 of an orbit away from the time to actually do the, I guess it'd be called the injection, the transvenous injection burn.
Yeah. Well, in this case, what I usually do now is to go to. I also you can try just adjusting the time to eject a little bit and see if this gives you a little bit less delta V.
And we do that in the orbit eject side.
Yeah.
Okay, so the time to EJ is currently 2,400. We'll put the adjustment at 10. And let's bump it forward. Actually, that's coming down. It went from 1.343 to 1.328 to 1.31.
Well, it should be exactly where that dashed line is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is right there. And I accidentally reset the time, or I didn't reset it, but I set it for 100 by mistake, but that's okay. I can just unclick that.
Okay. And now you can see the delta V that you need to get to Venus with a direct burn for the moon. 1.31312 meters per second. 1.312 kilometers per second, sorry.
Yeah, if we dropped back to Earth, we would use about 850 to get there and another 400 to do this burn, wouldn't we?
Well, 400 would be for Mars. This would be around 360, something like that.
Yeah.
I have to make the calculation to give you an exact number, but it would be very small burn at Earth periapsis.
Yeah, so just save probably about 200 meters a second, it sounds like.
Yeah, something like that. Around 150 to 100 meters per second. The lower the escape vector on the left side, and also the smaller the gain from using the other method, the two burn solution.
Okay.
But if you were going to Jupiter, let's say, where you would probably need something around 6,500, 7,000 on the left side, or even more, you would have significant gainings up to 2 kilometers per second difference.
Speaking of Jupiter, this just occurred to me. If you want to maybe make a note of this, something that we could show in another video would be how to do periapsis kicks. That's something that's brand new to me. I have no idea how to do that.
Yeah, when the burn takes too long, you have too many losses, so it's better to do periapsis kicks. So I made a note of that, and we can show it in another video.
Yeah. Now on the TEJ, do I want to adjust the left side because I've made an update? on the right?
No. There's no point in changing just a 100 seconds difference.
Okay, are we basically done with the left side?
Well, here we have two options. You can auto burn this on the right side, or bit eject PG BV AB, but
We want to
it's
set
not
up the
going to
map
be very
program.
accurate.
We want to use the map, don't we?
Or yeah, you can set up the delta velocity and map programs
Okay.
to be a little bit more accurate about the burn. And I think it should be best to do this directly now. Now that we have made so many IMFD videos about how to use it, this is the best feature of IMFD, so we might as well get used to using it in every flight. So we're going to use the orbit eject program as our guide on how to set up the burn, and once we have that burn copied on the delta velocity program, we can open up the map program and see where that burn will take us relative to our target. So get a little bit closer to the burn, somewhere, I don't know, like 1500 seconds, so that we have enough time to set it up.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now, on the side that is not shared, that's the side where you want to have the orbit eject program.
Okay, this side that's not shared. So I want to bring up orbit eject on the left
On that
side.
Because the one that is shared, we're going to stop sharing it and set up the delta velocity program.
Okay. So now on the right side, which is shared, I want to bring up the delta velocity program, but do I want to unshare this side first?
Exactly. We're going to stop sharing it, so we can set up an independent trajectory over there. And we're going to copy the burn parameters from the left side.
Okay, so bringing delta velocity up on the right. And do we need to target Venus first, or?
Over here, the only thing you need to check is if you have the correct reference body. Obviously, we're in orbit around the moon right now. If for some reason that said Earth there in the reference, you will need to change it and have the correct reference body. Other than that, you don't need to change anything. Just set up the burn.
Okay, and we do that. We're first of all going to set the TEJ to match the TEJ of the other side, which would go 1505. And this says the DV is 1.312, but
that's the total DV.
Right.
Well, you can, and you can also see that your relative inclination to the trajectory is very, very small. So it's almost no plane change in that burn. But there could be a little bit inward or outward. And you can actually press PG and BV and see the exact values for every. You see almost no plane change over there, 0.38, and a little bit of inward. But you have to remember that the burn on the left side was not very accurate, and this is what we're going to fix. So even if you start with the total delta V as your prograde and then make the adjustments, it doesn't make any difference because you are going to have to make adjustments.
Yeah, just for my own understanding, I think it would be better to put in the 3 variables here, though, rather than putting them all in as one.
Whatever you want. Usually, when I have a very, very small injection inclination, when I know that I'm not using any plane change, I just use the total velocity.
But here, for example, we can just use the prograde in the inward. We don't even need to bother with that plane change because it's such a small number.
Yeah, and don't even bother with the decimals. I mean, just set the, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we have the burn set up, and now we want to see where that burn will take us. So we're going to share the left side now from the right side, and we're going to open up the map program.
Okay, so on the left side, we want to share the right side.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now you have lost completely all the trajectory to Venus and everything that we had previously.
Yeah.
We've lost it. But that's okay. We had copied everything that we needed, and now we want to see where that burn will take us. So you have the map program. Obviously, the reference is going to be the sun because we're going to go around the sun and hit Venus.
Okay, reference sun, target Venus.
The
Then,
display program, the
yeah,
display button is going to show the rest of the planets.
press all the buttons that you always press.
Hmm.
They should have a way to default these.
Yeah,
Okay, SOI. Oh, I already hit that. And then
I know.
select.
Just the cell button to see the periapsis relative to Venus. And it is
Pretty far off.
pretty far out. So you start with the time, adjusting the time.
Okay. And that's always 1x when you're down to this point, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and going forward in time's helping. So let's
Because of
just...
the lag, I cannot see, so I'm not going to help you at all with the variables because I cannot see and it's going to mess it up.
Okay, it's helping significantly to bring the time down, or to move the time forward, rather.
Mhm.
I've gone from 2 point whatever G down to 1 point, and now I'm down to just 800,000 kilometers, 500,000. Now it's going back up. All right, so at... So basically for this
No,
part...
don't go for the minimum. Go to the minimum, pass it a little bit, and then go and change another variable.
Yeah,
Because if you go each time to the minimum and then the minimum again, you're going to have to make a lot of adjustment. If you go to a minimum and then you pass it, and then change another variable to see if it helps, it takes it's a little bit faster. Just like transx, you don't always go for the minimum. You always move slightly past that, and then go back and change another variable.
yeah, that was one of the most, well, one of the more revealing things that I finally learned about transx was that whole idea of having to, overshoot a variable in one direction and then come back with another one. And when I learned that, it greatly helped me dial in planets. Okay, and we're getting kind of actually it's getting worse now, so let's go back to that delta V and take out the delta V, I believe. Actually, I've already forgot if I put in delta V or if I took it out. I have a bad habit of doing that. So we'll just... Okay, so now 708 is the low point, even though it was 500 before. So let me add in a little bit more time, and then come back to the delta V. Okay, in doing that, it's just continually getting worse, so I need to take out time. Yeah, that's bringing it down. So we'll overshoot
Okay.
that way a little bit. Yeah. So I overdid the time a little bit.
Okay, so it's less time and less delta V, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, less time, less delta V at the moment.
But you are about still 600 million.
Right.
So take out about 10 seconds and then go back to the delta V.
Okay, now we're down to 572. Let me just keep taking away delta V. Bring it out to 700. Then we'll go back to time, take out some time. Yeah, now we're down to 400, so take out time until we're at 700 again.
Yeah.
Take out delta V.
So overshooting helps a lot, much faster than...
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely much faster. Now we're all the way down to 400, even 300. 390 was the lowest I saw there, so we'll continue taking out delta V.
Yeah, go to 3-4 meters per second. When you have this much big difference, you can take out 3-4 meters per second more and...
Go all the way out to 800, just to speed it up a little bit, and now take out some time. That's got us all the way down to 265. So let's go to 800 again on this side, or with this variable. 10's probably too much. I was going to brave a 10x adjustment, but I thought better of that.
For the delta V and the time, for the prograde delta V and the time, it's better to be at 1x.
Yeah. So now we're down to 150, 140, 130. So you want to use time and prograde until you get down to about 20M.
Yeah, 20, 10, something like that, and then you use the other variables.
Yeah.
Because already from what we used in the programs in IMFD, it was a pretty good solution. We're just adjusting the burn. You see how much difference there is from the auto burn and the actual burn that we're going to make. The auto burn was something like what, 1310, 1320, something like that, and we're using 35, 40 meters per second less.
Yeah.
Delta V. And now I see 2000 per year. That's pretty good.
I think got 1,000 there, 1,100 changing the inward outward a little bit, but now I'll put in a touch of plane change, and that's all the way down to 400K, so we're right there at the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can try and go even for the center of the planet, but Venus is different from Mars, as you will see. In this case, we are going to need to use more corrections. In this type of light, if you had Mars and you went for the center of the planet, you could probably make it with tiny corrections by about 2-3 meters per second. In this case, it's going to be a little bit different, probably because Earth has a huge sphere of influence, and going to the inside, you actually have a low relative velocity to Earth, so it's pulling you for a longer time up to the point until you leave the sphere of influence. So that messes up a little bit your trajectory.
yeah, and one thing I've noticed too, when you go in toward the planets, if you come from Mars to Earth, or in this case, Earth to Venus, the update seems to be, it seems to update a lot more, or it's a lot less precise. It doesn't hold quite as well as it does when you go out, like when we went from Earth to Mars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that has to do with probably the mathematics IMFD uses for this, for the map program especially. And on some cases you get a very, very accurate solution, but on some other cases, probably you could get a better solution if you go out and change something in the configuration file, the number of time steps or the method that is used for the calculation. But that would be for every flight you would have to set up something different. So it's best to use one configuration that gives you relatively good results for almost any kind of flight, and then make a few necessary adjustments on the way there. I mean, relative to TransX or even the normal programs of IMFD, this is going to be a lot more accurate.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of trouble actually getting the center of the planet. I can't seem to bring this down anymore.
Don't worry about it. I mean, we are going to need the correction anyway,
Yeah.
so I would be very happy with this plan. What you could do is to try take out a little bit of delta V and 1 more second to see if that helps.
Let's try that just out of curiosity. So 1 second and some delta V. Yeah, that did it. That's got us down now to negative 2.6, and Venus is actually bigger than Mars, or more, the radius is
about the size of Earth, so it can go about to minus 6,000 kilometers, something like that. But that's okay. I mean, you are going to need a correction in this trajectory, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay, we're at 30 minutes again on this video, so let's save the burn and flight over to Venus for the next part, and we'll do all the mid-course corrections and everything that needs to be done as part of that video as well. If you like this video, please hit the like button down below, and thank Dimitri. Leave a comment in the description down below thanking Dimitri for helping us all out. Again, I know that prior to recording that last set of videos, I was completely oblivious. I had no idea how to use IMFD whatsoever. And since recording those videos and going back and rewatching them myself a number of times, I'm now able to use IMFD for all kinds of tasks, and I'm very grateful for that. So check the check the description down below for a link to his YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video.